I was stuck in a rut. My runs felt sluggish, I had zero motivation, and I really just didn't feel anywhere near my best. Always tired, always sore. So I set myself a goal. 7 days to try and reset. Looking to get my running mojo back and prove that in just 7 days I can turn things around. And you can too. So if you're feeling sluggish or unmotivated, follow the 7-day challenge with me and let's get back on track together. All right, here we go. Day 1, it's Monday. I'm gonna start this plan off with a strength session. Now, I know it probably sounds weird to start with strength. Come off a big training weekend. I am feeling a little bit tired and sluggish. My focus on today's session is actually to be a bit more prehab focus, a little bit more injury preventative type of work. Call it a bit of an active recovery type of session. So I'm really going to be focusing more on mobility type of work, something to improve my range of motion. Probably going to incorporate some band work, so a light strength session, some bands, some technique focused work today. And the real aim, as I mentioned, is more injury preventative stuff, making sure that I am recovering. So when I do get started in tomorrow's training session with a run, I'm actually feeling a little bit better than I had, and that's just after the first day. So today's main focus is to keep it light. You don't want to be pushing heavy resistance, heavy workloads, and you really don't want to be coming out of today's session feeling sore, because the rest of the week is still going to be a long week. All right, it's Tuesday, day 2, and the first run day of the week. Now, because I've been tired and feeling really sluggish, I've decided I'm taking out all intensity this week. So all my runs for the week are going to be slow, easy runs. That's the main goal here. So today's run, we're going on a 60-minute easy run. I'm going to be focusing purely on perceived effort, not worrying too much about pace or anything else, just keeping it nice and easy and making sure I can breathe well. So if I was running with someone, for example, I should be able to have a nice, comfortable conversation with them throughout the entire run. The idea of the easy run, as I said, 1, I'm trying to recover. Okay, so keeping it nice and light means I'm doing a lot less damage to my body on every run. I can recover quicker, so the next training session and the next run, I'm actually feeling fresh and ready to go again. So the idea of these easy runs is to help improve my aerobic conditioning. By having a good aerobic base and aerobic capacity, my body becomes a lot smarter at providing energy to the right places from the right sources. So it allows me to become more of an efficient runner and allows for consistency for the rest of the week's training. All right, let's get cracking. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, we're back in the gym. It's Wednesday, day 3, and I'm actually feeling pretty good after yesterday's run. So that's always a good sign, and that's really the aim of this week. So back to the gym. Today's focus is going to be a little bit more on strength, conventional strength training. So I am going a little bit heavier today. When I say conventional strength training, I'm talking about resistance training. So whether that is body weight work, resistance bands, actually lifting and moving weights, that's the aim of this session today. Because I have been a little bit tired, I'm not going to be pushing too hard still, so I'll still be cutting down on my weight, so a little bit lighter in the session than what I usually do. But the main aim of keeping strength training in is really twofold. 1, I'm trying to reduce my risk of injury and actually improve my resistance to fatigue. The reason why strength training is so key in helping with that injury risk is because it fortifies the joints, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments to handle the amount of running load that we put on the body. Remember, running is a repetitive movement. It's striking the ground over and over again, and there's a lot of systemic breakdown and eccentric load that happens in every running stride. The strength helps us build and get ourselves ready for that load. And as I said, that resistance to fatigue means we can do a little bit more for a little bit longer if we are consistently doing strength training. So that's the first side, the injury prevention. The second point is actually to help improve our performance. And again, that can be broken down into 2 parts. The direct way of improving performance is I'm building more strength in my legs and in my body to be able to produce more power and force in every stride going forward. The other part is a more indirect way of improving performance, and that is just becoming more efficient and improving my running economy. Imagine my hips and knees, there's a misalignment and my hips tend to drop a little bit because I'm not strong enough. My body now has to work really hard just to get that alignment right before pushing myself forward in my running stride. The strength training helps with that alignment, which means I don't actually have to work as hard and all my energy can be focused on the forward movement in the stride rather than trying to just pick myself up and get my body in the right position first. That's where the running economy comes into it. I'm more efficient. So in today's session, I'm going to be focusing on exercises like squats, lunges, step-ups, calf raises, definitely throwing in a little bit of core work still, so I'm going to be doing some dead bug exercises, and then not neglecting any upper body work. Remember, we still have to keep our posture strong and our upper body strong as well, even though we are runners. So I'm going to throw in some bent over rows to assist with the upper body resistance work. All right, let's get started. These weights aren't going to lift themselves. All right, it's Thursday. I'm on yet another easy run. This is exactly the same as Tuesday's run. We're on day 4 of the 7-day cycle and keeping things really easy. So I've actually taken a little bit of a break here, a walk break. I talk about these easy runs. Remember I said I'm not worrying about anything like pace, heart rate, any of that. I'm just worried about perceived effort and making sure I keep it nice and easy. I have been feeling better already. I am definitely feeling fresher, and this run I felt like I could have just kept going, to be quite honest. You saw, like I mentioned, I did come into a walk break towards the end of the run here as I've stopped. Don't be scared to throw those walk breaks in. It really is a good way for you just to calm down, bring the heart rate back down, and just catch your breath. It's a big thing I see a lot of runners do, that when they're running, they feel like they're pushing too hard, and they often say to me, oh, I can't slow down. I don't know how to slow my pace down anymore. A walk break is a really good way just to take a bit of the eccentric loading off the legs, and more importantly, just to bring the heart rate down, catch your breath again, get started running again from there. It can be short walk breaks that you're incorporating into these runs, but please don't be scared of them. Remember, the whole idea of this week's challenge is to try and just reboot, reset, and feel good and feel fresh again. We're trying to shake the fatigue that we've just been struggling with for so long. So with the easy runs, I felt like I could keep going today. The week so far is working really well. It's a rest day tomorrow. It's probably my favorite day of the week. I'm looking forward to it. It's come at just the right time. And then obviously we're into the weekend's training ahead. Oh, hey, you guys have interrupted me on my rest day, day 5. This is my favorite day of the week. And I know as runners, it's a swear word when we talk about rest days, but a rest day is absolutely critical in our week, especially if you are feeling a little bit tired and sluggish as I have been. So I like to do at least one full rest day per week where I'm not doing any training, not even some cross training or anything in between. Today I'm taking it off. I should be working. This is one of the perks, I guess, of working from home. But the main focus today is to just allow my body to rebuild from the 4 days of training that I've just had. We often think that in our training session, that's where we're making our gains, that's where we're getting stronger and fitter, but we're not. Training creates a systemic breakdown, which means there's little micro tears in our muscle fibers. By resting, our body goes, you know what, I didn't like what you made me do yesterday or the couple of days before. It's now when I build a little bit stronger to go, I'm ready for what you're going to throw at me the next time. So it's in our rest and our recovery periods that we build stronger, we get the gains and the benefits of what we've done in the previous days, so that our next training session, we are stronger, faster, and ready to go. Today, I am going to take it really laid back. I might even go for a nap later, but the focus on today is to make sure I'm freshening up as much as possible for tomorrow's long run. A big thing you want to focus on your rest day as well is still good nutrition and good hydration practices. That is critical to make sure that my body and my muscles are regenerating properly, I'm fueling myself up properly and ready for tomorrow's run. All right, so that's my long run done for the week. This is probably the most important run of the week and of the cycle. I've just finished roughly an hour 45 at a very easy pace. The whole idea of today's session was to keep things really light, very easy. I'm trying to teach my body to go longer without breaking down, how to improve my endurance without pushing too hard. I find the long run is very often a run that people mess up more often than not because they are always pushing too hard. As a result, it really leaves you shattered after the run. You might not even finish the run because you're so exhausted. A big focus on this run also is relaxed breathing, that conversational pace. Remember, you're trying to keep everything really light, and as much as it was an hour 45 run, I'm actually feeling relatively okay, so I don't think I'm going to be so broken later on into the day. Another big focus on today's run, the long runs are a really good opportunity to play around with nutrition strategies. Figure out what works for you. I was playing around with these gels. Figure out what works best for you. You need to train your gut as much as you do your muscles on those runs. So that nutritional strategies, getting used to the comfort of eating and drinking and hydrating well enough, making sure you're getting the right amounts that work best for you on a long run is absolutely key. One really important thing around the nutrition for the long runs is you don't want to get to the end of a run actually feeling hungry. That's a good way of telling, you know what, I actually didn't have enough on the session. You're typically looking for about 40 to 60 grams of carbs per hour. So that, remember, the carbohydrates is your jet fuel or your fuel source that keeps you going and fueled for that run. So figure out what works for you. Again, gels work pretty well for me. They're easy to carry, easy to digest, and I'm feeling comfortable. I think I'm feeling pretty energetic. We got one more day to go in this week. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's session. And I can't believe the week's actually gone so quickly, feeling more rejuvenated, as I said, refreshed, even after a run that I've just done, a long run now. I'm actually feeling much better than I did when we started this challenge. All right, so as you can see, I'm prepping my bike. Today, day 7, the legs are feeling a little bit tender actually from yesterday's long run, as much as it was a good run. But I've decided I'm going to go out and do a bit of cross training instead. So cross training being either cycling or swimming, something that's less impact than what running is. Initially, I had scheduled a 45-minute recovery run, but like I said, because the legs are just feeling a little bit tender, I've decided I'm going to go out for a 2-hour ride instead. Cross training is a really great way for you to continue to build aerobic conditioning without the impact or the eccentric loading on the legs than what running is going to do. So like I said, I can get out for 2 hours today on the bike and not feel as sore and as tired as I would if I even went out for that 45-minute run. So my goal here, while I am on the bike, while I am going to go out for 2 hours, I still want to keep the intensity low on today's ride. It's going to be 2 hours, so I still need to focus on my nutrition and making sure that I'm fueling and hydrating well for the entire session. And hopefully, being the last day of the week, things have gone well. I am feeling good, and hopefully after this ride, the body's just ready to rock and roll going into a new week next week. Just to add to that, I often get asked about cross training and what we can do. I mean, not everyone has a bike, not everyone likes to ride bikes. It's not always safe out there. So what else could you do? So, like I said, anything that's going to take that impact off the legs. Swimming is a really good option. Besides cycling, rowing is also another good option. And if you are feeling a little bit tired, ultimately you just want to be listening to your body. I would still rather you just go for a walk around the block, get some movement, what we call active recovery, do a little bit of mobility work, but make sure you're not doing anything more that's going to be taxing on the body. When I say listen to your body, don't be scared to throw in another rest day. Rest is always going to be more beneficial. So what did I learn after these 7 days? I feel refreshed and invigorated. I feel like I've recovered better. Having focused and prioritized on hydration, nutrition, and the easy training has really left me feeling fresher and ready to go again. Having had a bit of a plan and a structure to reboot has really left me motivated and excited for what's to come. If you're stuck in a rut and just not motivated about your running, try this challenge. Give yourself 7 days to see how much better you can feel. Once you've done that, the next step is to watch this video. 9 things runners shouldn't do. Watching this video will help you avoid making those common training mistakes. Click it now. I'll see you there.